Today, let's explore the 5 W's of Bitcoin. So here's what I mean. In storytelling, you have the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why. This is how you figure out the narrative of any given plot line. So we have the same thing with investment. We have an investment narrative to basically clearly define what asset we're dealing with. So we have the 5 W's of Bitcoin: who, what, when, where, why. Who, well, it started off with just a lot of, technical programmers. You have that early adopter phase of kind of the fringe niche Bitcoiners. Then you had smart money, so a few early investors who really caught the vision. And of course, now we're at the stage where institutions are starting to buy in. So you have BlackRock, Fidelity, you have several different governments starting to buy at Bitcoin. And I imagine in the future, we will have kind of that mass adoption phase where your everyday person starts to understand Bitcoin a little bit more, or it's so popular and so commonplace that they just eventually kind of jump on board. So that's kind of the who. Anyone who needs sound money will eventually have to take a look at Bitcoin to see if it's a good fit. What? Well, what is Bitcoin? Basically is an infinite subject that could go on forever, but for our purposes, Bitcoin is both a currency and a network. It's a payment platform as well as a gamified system. Bitcoin is an innovative asset class. So it's the first time that we've had basically the illusion of digital property ownership. It's the first time that we've been able to achieve something called artificial scarcity, where there is a limited supply of the digital token in a payment platform based on the internet. So it's kind of like having gold, something that you can't print out of nowhere, except it's on the internet like Venmo, where you can send it to anyone in the world. When? The when of Bitcoin is pretty interesting because I'm sure everybody would love to go back 5 or 10 years and buy Bitcoin back when it was a lot cheaper. That way they could basically make a profit. In the same way, I'm assuming that 5 or 10 years from now, even more people will be wishing that they could go back to today and buy it at these cheap prices. Everything is relative to the decade before. One interesting point to note about the when of Bitcoin is that it'll take a total of about 150 years to release all of the Bitcoin currency into circulation. And yet in its first 30 years, it's going to release 99% of the supply. And then it'll take over 100 years to release that last 1% of Bitcoin supply. So its inflation schedule is highly asymmetric. Who, what, when, where? Bitcoin can be sent and received anywhere in the world. Essentially, Bitcoin can be used anywhere that people go, anywhere that people have an internet connection, anywhere that people exchange services. It's a monetary network that does not have any geographical borders, and so the where is very expansive, anywhere with an internet connection. And finally, we've made it to the why. Of course, we can get into the weeds with wondering why Bitcoin was designed. Was it designed to free people? Was it designed to enslave people into a mass surveillance network? On a practical level, people will be attracted to Bitcoin because they need sound money. Essentially, people just need a way to store their energy that will store value for the long term. So instead of working for dollars that are constantly losing purchasing power, people are looking for a type of currency or some type of asset that will actually increase in value over time instead of slowly losing value. And for some of us, we need an off-grid digital currency that we can send and receive directly to a friend or a family member without the use of some bank or government approval. So that's the 5 W's of Bitcoin in a nutshell. Let me know what you think.